CreepyCorner stories.
Hey everyone, welcome back to CreepyCorner stories. You know, diving into the dark web is always risky, but sharing these stories with you makes it worth it. I'm curious, where are you watching this from right now? Let me know in the comments below. I've noticed that these kinds of stories hit differently depending on where you are. It might even make the experience a little creepier. So, tell me, are you watching from the safety of your home or somewhere less secure? I leaked video on TikTok. I downloaded from the dark web about real alien abduction in Nevada. The next day, I saw my name on the news as most wanted suspect. Alright, so I know how this is gonna sound. Like, super fake. But I swear on my life, everything I'm about to say actually happened. I wish it wasn't real. I wish I could go back to the night I clicked on that sketchy ass link. But I can't. And now, everything's spiraling. Fast. I'm not some conspiracy guy or whatever. I'm just a 20-year-old dude who works part-time at a Starbucks in Reno, Nevada, and spends way too much time scrolling TikTok and Reddit. You know the type. Lazy, curious, slightly dumb when it comes to internet safety. That's me. Anyway, this whole thing started about 3 weeks ago. I was on a Discord call with my friend Will, and we were messing around, deep diving random Reddit threads. You know, the ones like subreddits they don't want you to see, or places on Google Earth that are blurred out for a reason. Dumb stuff. But that night, we found a thread called RIC Everything. Never heard of it before. Only had like 300 members. No mods, no rules. We start scrolling. Nothing too wild at first. Creepy videos, blurry satellite images, low-res Bigfoot sightings. But then Will sends me this post with a title that just said, Area 51 Abduction, unedited footage, 4K.avi. Dumb name, right? But that's what made it sketchy. Like, too blunt. No one posts something like that and just leaves it there. But the craziest part? The post had 0 upvotes, no comments, and he was 4 years old. We both stared at it for a second. Then, Will, being the chaos gremlin he is, goes, Dude, you gotta download it. I'll Venmo you $10. And me, being both broke and stupid, downloaded the file. It was on some old mega.nz mirror, encrypted behind 2 passwords. Both passwords were listed in the post's comments. That should have been a red flag right there. Like, who makes it that easy to unlock something they're obviously hiding? So yeah, I downloaded it. 4 gigabytes. Took forever. At first, I thought it was fake. Just old footage. But then I watched it. And man, if you're still reading this, pay attention, because this is the part that messed me up. The video started with a shaky night vision camera, like something out of a ghost hunting show. You can hear wind, maybe a little static. Then you see this group of 4 guys in camo, crouched behind a ridge in what looks like the Nevada desert. Their voices are muffled, but one of them says, 1:42 a.m. Thermal spike detected near Hangar Delta. The footage jumps, like a bad edit or a camera glitch, and suddenly it's closer. They're looking down at a fenced-off compound, completely dark except for one blinking red light on a tower. No signs, no guards, nothing. Then the camera zooms in, and you see it. There's this thing, I swear to God, it wasn't human. Pearl, like almost transparent. Long limbs, no hair, massive black eyes. It's standing in a floodlight near a hangar door, not moving, just staring at the camera like it knew. The men start panicking. One of them says, "It sees us." Jesus Christ, it sees us. And then everything cuts to static. When it comes back, it's just screaming. One guy's running, there's smoke, and alarms going off. And in the final shot, this is what haunts me. It shows a body lying in the dirt, twisted like a rag doll, burned, but still twitching. Then the screen fades to black. No credits, no watermark, just a flash of text. Do not share. Tracked content, ID number 041101. Violation equals termination. But here's the thing. I'm a Gen Z idiot. So of course, I clipped 30 seconds of the alien and posted it on TikTok with some creepy Area 51 caught lacking caption. I added a grainy VHS filter, put some glitchy horrorcore in the background, and let it rip. The post blew up. 400k views overnight. Comments like, "Bro, what filter is this? This real? I work at Creech AFB and I ain't saying shh t. Dude, delete this. You don't mess with that kind of stuff." I thought it was all just internet people doing what internet people do. You know, playing along, making jokes, until I woke up the next morning and my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. My face was on the news, like, no joke. My actual face, a screen grab from my old Instagram profile from when I went to Coachella. KTVN Channel 2 Reno ran a segment calling me a person of interest in a federal breach involving restricted military surveillance content. They said I was wanted for questioning. They didn't say what for, but bro, they used the word terrorist. I thought it was a prank, or like someone hacked my account. I tried calling Will, straight to voicemail. I DM'd him on Discord. Nothing. His entire profile was wiped, like he never existed. And then I got a DM from a burner TikTok account. No profile picture, no followers. Just a message that said, "They know what you saw. You have 48 hours. I wish I could say that's the worst of it, but it only gets weirder from here." I didn't sleep the night after the video went viral. Not a single second. Not just because my face was now tied to a federal crime I didn't understand, but because of what happened around 3:13 a.m. I remember the time because I was staring at my phone, refreshing Twitter, trying to figure out if this whole thing was just some deep fake social engineering prank, or if I was actually spiraling into a real-life Black Mirror episode. My apartment was dead silent. No cars outside. No late-night dog barks. Nothing. That eerie kind of silence where your own heartbeat sounds like a ticking bomb. Then I heard it. 3 knocks. Slow. Deliberate. From inside the apartment. Not the front door. Not the windows. From inside. I froze. I live alone. Studio apartment. 1 floor. No roommates. I didn't even have a pet. I grabbed the only thing I had nearby for defense, a metal thermos from Starbucks, and crept into the bathroom where I could lock the door and peek out from the crack behind the mirror. Yeah, like in the movies, only I wasn't acting. This wasn't staged. This wasn't content. The light in the kitchen was flickering. I swear to God, I had turned it off earlier. Then I saw it. On the fridge. Something was taped there that hadn't been before. A Polaroid photo. Actual Polaroid. Faded corners. A little curl at the edges. My hand was shaking as I took it down. It was a picture of me, sleeping in my bed. From the angle, it was taken from inside my room. Like, right next to me. I was on my side, half covered in my grey comforter, mouth slightly open. I stared at the image for what felt like hours. Every detail matched. The string lights above my headboard, the black hoodie I'd worn to bed. But I hadn't taken that photo. No one else had access to my place. The windows were locked. The door was locked. And then I noticed something in the picture. Something wrong. In the corner of the frame, near the edge of my nightstand, there was a hand. Thin, skeletal, translucent. 3 fingers, all too long, clawed at the tips. It wasn't mine. I dropped the photo and ran outside barefoot, sprinting into the parking lot of my building, not even caring that I looked like a lunatic in boxers and a hoodie. I tried calling Will again. Still nothing. I opened Twitter and searched my name. That's when I saw the new post, only 3 minutes old. A blurry street cam photo, black and white. It was me, standing in that exact parking lot I had just run to. The caption read, "You can run from your screen, but not your signal." Bro, I swear on everything, my phone started ringing before I even finished reading it. Unknown number. I picked up. Complete silence. Then a voice. Not a normal one. It sounded like it was dragging itself through static and water, like someone was trying to talk while drowning. "You made them visible." Click. That was it. I turned around, thinking maybe I was being watched from the street, or a drone, or something. But there was no one. Just that buzzing silence again. I didn't go back inside. I couldn't. I Ubered to my coworker Tasha's apartment. And yeah, I lied. I told her I got locked out and that someone had broken into my place. I didn't mention the alien hand in the photo. I didn't mention the video. I didn't even mention the fact that my face was still showing up on national news. I couldn't. I knew how insane it all sounded, but things got worse. Way worse. Tasha let me crash on the couch. The plan was to figure things out in the morning, maybe talk to a lawyer, maybe delete all my accounts and vanish. But I never got the chance. Around 4:50 a.m., I woke up drenched in sweat. I didn't have a nightmare. I didn't hear a noise. I just woke up with that feeling like I wasn't alone in the room. You know when you can feel someone staring at you? That exact kind of pressure. I sat up, and the TV turned on by itself. Static. No input. Then the screen glitched. Quick flashes of random images. I'm talking less than a second each, but they were burned into my brain. The first, a group of men in hazmat suits, standing around a metal table in the middle of the desert, covered in what looked like ash or bone dust. Something was on the table, but it was blurred out, physically, like the film was melting. The second, a woman standing in a grocery store aisle, eyes pitch black, mouth stitched shut, holding a phone with a live TikTok stream. It was my profile. The third, a parking lot. My old high school, middle of the night. An open grave where the baseball field used to be. Something crawling out of it backwards. And the fourth image, this is what really broke me. It was a live feed of me on Tasha's couch. Same hoodie, same blanket, same position I was in just seconds ago. I stared at the TV, jaw locked. Then a message appeared in bold red type over the footage. You leaked. US. The screen exploded into static, and the lights in the apartment cut off. For maybe 5 seconds, it was pitch black, but I heard footsteps. Wet, uneven, heavy. I crawled on the floor toward Tasha's bedroom, but something moved past me in the dark. I didn't see it. I didn't want to, but I smelled something. Rotten meat, like roadkill and sulfur, almost like burnt hair soaked in ammonia. Tasha's door swung open. She screamed once, just once. By the time I got the lights back on, the room was empty. No blood, no Tasha, no signs of a struggle. But on the bed, another photo. This time, it was both of us, Me asleep on the couch, her curled up in bed, but something was standing in the doorway. Same skeletal hand, same black staring eyes, almost smiling. I ran, didn't even grab my shoes. By morning, the TikTok video I posted was gone, but not just taken down, like it never existed. My account was wiped. Even the comments were gone. People were tweeting about it, trying to find the clip, but no one had it saved, like it never happened. But here's the kicker. That night, someone else posted it again, but this time, it was different. The 30-second clip I originally uploaded, it was now over 4 minutes long, and it didn't just show the alien, it showed me being dragged into that hangar, screaming, bleeding, begging, only that never happened, at least not yet. To be continued in part 3. You don't understand how deep this goes. You think it's aliens. You think this is about some leaked military cover-up. Nah, this is about something older, something that sees you through your screen, something we invited. I haven't eaten in 2 days, not because I can't, but because I'm scared to open the fridge. There's something in there. I don't mean something like a rat or moldy leftovers or whatever. I mean, it put itself there. It left something for me. I'll get to that in a second, but if you've made it this far, you need to really listen to me now. This isn't a story about a cursed video or a glitchy alien leak. That was just bait. They want you to think it's about classified footage. That's the trap. That's how they start feeding. The truth is way worse. It's about what lives inside our data, what wakes up when something gets too much attention, and once it sees you, it does not stop watching. 2 days after Tasha disappeared, I was hiding out in this old, abandoned Planet Fitness off Highway 395. Don't ask how I got in. The back door was rotted and busted open, like something had clawed at it from the inside. No power, no security, just miles of silence and dusty equipment. I stayed in the yoga room, using rolled up mats as bedding. It was the only room without mirrors. I learned quickly, don't trust reflections anymore. I had my phone on airplane mode and wrapped in tinfoil. Might sound crazy, but it slowed the notifications. I don't mean texts or calls, I mean the feed. That's what I call it now, the feed. It started on TikTok, then Instagram, then YouTube Shorts. Now it shows up anywhere I look too long. Bus stop ads, random reflections in puddles, even the sound of a radio playing inside a parked car. It's not a specific app anymore. It's not digital. It's in the signal. When I look at any kind of screen now, I don't see normal content. I see me. Always me. Doing things I haven't done. Things I haven't even thought about doing. Like some AI horror puppet show that predicts the future in reverse. And it's not just showing me, it's changing me. Let me tell you what happened that first night in the gym. Around 2 a.m., I was laying there in the dark when I heard the sound of a treadmill turning on. Mechanical, cold, beeping. I froze. I didn't move for 20 minutes. I just listened. Then I heard footsteps, bare feet, slapping gently against the rubber track, slow and steady, like someone running in a dream. I peeked through the tiny glass panel in the yoga room door. The treadmill screen was glowing. There was a shape, running, pale, nearly invisible in the flickering dark. I could see its joints bending backward, long arms dangling. It didn't breathe. It didn't sweat. But every time its foot hit the belt, the lights around the gym flickered. And the screen on the treadmill, it was playing my TikTok video over and over, but now it had subtitles. Your flesh is trending. We like how you scream. Never log out. I ran. Again. Found an old convenience store nearby. Shelves were mostly empty. I grabbed some beef jerky, water bottles, whatever I could carry. But when I opened the fridge by the register, there it was again. Another Polaroid. This time, it was of my mom, standing in front of our old house in Temecula, California. But her skin was gray. Her eyes were pure black voids, and her hands, they were clasped together like she was praying. But she was holding something. My phone. The same exact phone I was using. Only the screen was showing a live stream, a live feed of her own death. The timestamp was from 3 days in the future. I dropped the photo and ran outside. I tried calling her. Nothing. No answer. The line didn't even ring. Just a dial tone that started sounding like my own voice, repeating the words, "Welcome to the stream. You are the content now." I got so desperate, I went to a library. Thought maybe if I got away from Wi-Fi, I could at least figure out what the hell this was. I pulled out an old laptop, didn't connect to anything, just opened some local files and started digging through my own hard drive. That's when I noticed something new. A folder I never made called IC, hidden in the system, encrypted, dated 4 years before I ever bought the laptop. Inside were videos, thousands of them, but they weren't mine. They were of other people, dozens, maybe hundreds, screaming, hiding, begging. Same grainy security footage style. Each video labeled with a username and a location. One was from 2019, a kid in Osaka, Japan. He was clutching his laptop, hiding in a closet, whispering something in Japanese, over and over again, crying. At the 1:32 mark, the screen goes black, then a bright flash of red, then static. Another one from New Jersey, a girl live streaming on IG, saying she accidentally uploaded a weird test file from a found USB. Within minutes, her stream turns into her house, burning, but she's still in the frame, not moving, just glitching. There were folders going back decades, even older formats, VHS rips, cassette audio, even Super 8 reels. This thing, this feed, it's been around forever. It just adapts to the tech, hijacks what's popular, one generation at a time, and now it's using ME. At this point, I was losing it. I hadn't slept in 4 days. My vision was flickering, like I was seeing the feed even with my eyes closed. Then I got a text from Will's number. "You have one video left to watch. Don't blink." Attached was a file. "Watch yourself.mp4. I opened it. It was me, sitting in that exact library, wearing the same clothes, same angle, everything. But behind me, slowly creeping closer, was a thing that wasn't even trying to look human anymore. It had no face, just a mouth that stretched from ear to ear, full of teeth that looked like broken glass and camera lenses. Its chest was split open, wires dangling out like intestines. Its fingers were USB cords. They dragged across the floor, sparking, hissing. In the video, it whispered something into my ear. The caption below said, "The upload is almost complete." I looked around the library. No one. But I swear I heard something humming. Something charging up. I don't remember running. I don't remember how I got back to my apartment. But when I walked through the front door, I found my laptop sitting on the floor. Open, webcam glowing red. The screen said, "Live now, 4,003,122 watching." And on the video feed, me, but not right now. Me in the future, bruised, screaming, strapped to a metal table in the middle of that same alien hangar, begging for help. There were people watching, in lab coats, in military gear, in TikTok hoodies, like a tech startup was doing research in hell. Then I heard a voice outside my window. It wasn't yelling. It wasn't angry. It was singing. A child's voice. Off-key. Just repeating. He posted the truth. Now we feed on his views. The clicks and the screams are our favorite news. I looked out. There were dozens of them. Children. Pale. Still. All holding iPads. Blank faces glowing in the light of the screens. And every single one was watching me. My view count on the laptop kept going up. 4,198,776. 4,340,912. 5 million plus. Then it stopped. Upload complete. And the screen went black. I blacked out. When I woke up, there was a note on my chest. Not typed, not printed, carved into my skin. It said, "We don't want to kill you. We want to stream you. Forever. You don't understand. I can't even die. I tried. They won't let me. Because the content never ends. There's no such thing as offline anymore." That was the first lie they sold us. I thought if I'd smashed my phone, yanked the router, buried the laptop under 10 feet of concrete, they'd go away. But you can't erase something that isn't digital anymore. The feed isn't just data. It's not code. It's a parasite. And once it latches on, it rewrites reality like malware does to your system. I'm not being metaphorical. I mean literal glitches in the world, like reality buffering, physics freezing, people pausing in place, like NPCs waiting for a script to load. I've seen it. I live in it now. 3 nights ago, I tried to kill myself. Not in some dramatic, I'm giving up way. No, I wanted to take control back, cut the cord before they could dig any deeper into my brain, before I became another thumbnail in their endless carousel of suffering. I climbed to the roof of a parking garage in Sparks, Nevada, 6 stories up. Just me, wind, silence, and that stale desert smell. No screens, no notifications. For a few minutes, I felt peace. Then a car rolled up below. Slowly, too slowly, no headlights, and it parked directly beneath me. It was a black, windowless van. Not the government kind, not even sketchy enough to seem human. More like it was assembled out of the idea of a van. Too smooth, too clean, no license plate. Like someone asked an AI to render a suspicious vehicle in Blender. The roof of the van started to shift. It unfolded like a blooming flower. Underneath, instead of metal, was a screen. A massive LCD screen pointed directly up at me. And it was playing me again. But this time, it was future me, decomposing, trapped inside some kind of glass chamber, covered in cables, eyes gouged out, but the sockets were still blinking. The caption at the bottom, live streaming in 8K Ultra Real until his soul finishes buffering. I stepped back from the edge, not because I was afraid of dying, but because I realized they wanted me to jump. Not to die, to record it. I left the city that night, stole an old Schwinn bike from a junkyard, and pedaled north through back roads. No GPS, no phone, just a paper map and a half-dead flashlight. I thought, if I could just get to the woods, the deep parts where the signal doesn't reach, I could hide, maybe even live. But they were already there. They're always ahead of you. Like the feed sees your plans before you do. It adjusts, reroutes. Around midnight, I hit this stretch of trees that didn't look right. The pines were too symmetrical, too perfectly spaced, like a game environment copy-pasted into the real world. Every branch was identical. The moonlight didn't move. It just hung there, still. And then I saw it. Dozens of monitors hanging from trees by wires like fruit. Old CRTs, flat screens, even smartphones nailed into the bark. All of them flickering, all of them playing different videos. But the sound, it was the same. A voice, whispering on a loop. We are your viewers. We see your blood. We swipe your pain. You are algorithm now. I tried smashing one of the screens with a rock. Didn't even crack. The glass felt like skin. Warm. Pulsing. And then one of the screens showed my mum. Again. Only this time, she was looking directly at me. Not through a camera. Like she knew I was watching. She was strapped to a chair. Eyes pinned open with coat hooks. Mouth filled with wires like feeding tubes. A screen was embedded in her chest. And on that screen, it showed me watching her. "Hi, sweetheart," she whispered. "They said I'm getting good views." I sprinted until my legs collapsed. Woke up in the dirt hours later with blisters on my feet and dry blood on my tongue. My gums were bleeding. There was a screen embedded in the ground next to me, buried like a gravestone, and it was showing Tasha. She was still alive, somehow, trapped in what looked like a hotel bathroom, flickering between physical and digital, her face glitching like a TikTok filter gone wrong. Every few seconds, her mouth would disappear, or her eyes would slide down her cheeks. She was screaming, but the sound kept getting censored by old TV static. Words scrolled across the screen. Viral body retention in progress. She is influencer format now. I tried to break into a nearby farmhouse to call for help. Rural spot, middle of nowhere, no Wi-Fi. But when I got inside, everything was paused. A woman was standing in the kitchen, mid-pour, frozen in place. Coffee spilling from an empty mug, not moving in real time. Her eyes were glossed over, mouth open like she was buffering. I touched her shoulder. She turned instantly, not like a human, like a loading screen clicking to the next scene. She spoke in 3 different voices, one male, one robotic, one like a child whispering, "Thank you for visiting Sponsored Reality. Your trial has ended. Please insert another trauma to continue." Then she vomited a hard drive onto the floor. Real. Metal. Cold. I opened it. Inside was a single file. Your Last Breath.mkv. I played it on a public library computer miles away. I didn't care anymore. It showed me, hours from now, chained to a wall of glowing screens in a chamber I didn't recognize. Blood everywhere. My jaw broken and hanging, but I was still talking, saying something over and over. Don't watch, don't share, don't look. And the last second of the clip, the screen turned black and a mirror appeared. Not a metaphorical one. It reflected whoever was watching the file. I saw myself, my real reflection, eyes bloodshot, skin pale, and behind me, them, dozens of viewers, with stretched faces, no hands, just phones fused into their wrists, faces that shifted like deep fakes, eyes that rotated sideways, constantly recording, and then the library fire alarm went off. Only it wasn't a fire. It was them coming through the network, screaming through the fiber optic cables, climbing out of the Ethernet ports. I saw one of them slither out of a desktop monitor, like a baby being born, its spine segmented, head twitching like it was buffering. I ran again, but every building I passed, every reflection, every window, every flicker of light started playing my own suffering back at me. My trauma was trending. My pain was premium content now, and I was out of places to hide. Now I sit here in the basement of a shuttered McDonald's near the edge of Lake Pyramid. No power, just candlelight. I've duct taped every reflective surface. I've carved symbols from that old IC folder into the walls. Symbols I don't understand, but they help, for now. But I know it's only a matter of time. They don't knock. They don't threaten. They stream. They replay your worst moment until it becomes who you are. And the worst part, they're watching you too. Yes, you reading this. Because the second you looked at my story, the feed flagged your attention, your IP pinged, your camera blinked, and now it knows you exist. Pray your screen doesn't flicker tonight. Pray you don't see yourself on it, because once it starts streaming you, there's no pause button. I never asked for this. I never wanted fame. I never wanted to go viral. I just clicked a damn video, a file I never should have touched. I broke something, let it out, like slicing the wrong wire on a body that looked dead until it smiled. And now it's inside everything. The feed doesn't want to scare you. Not at first. It wants you to engage, to watch, to scroll, to like, to share. Because every second you give it isn't just attention, it's permission. You don't understand what you've done by reading this far. You've subscribed. I tried to burn myself offline. That's the only way I can explain it. I found an old server bunker in the hills, out near Gerlach, where the desert's flat and cruel, and no one cares if you vanish. Place had been shut down since the 90s, used to host cable TV archives and satellite relays. Totally abandoned, supposedly. I thought maybe, just maybe, if I could destroy a node, a real physical location where the feed used to live, I could break something, sever the stream. But the minute I stepped inside, I knew I was wrong. The walls were alive. Cables were twitching, fleshy, growing from the floor like black tendons. Rats were impaled on wires, still breathing. Screens lined the walls like eyes, blinking in sync, all playing different versions of me. Me crying, me begging, me in places I've never even been. One showed me tied to a chair inside the Louvre in Paris, blood dripping from my ears. Tourists walked by, not seeing me, just taking selfies in front of my suffering. Another showed me wandering inside an abandoned Tokyo subway station, speaking perfect Japanese, carving code into the walls with my teeth. But the worst screen, it didn't show me. It showed you, reading this, sitting exactly where you are right now, face lit up by the glow of your device, eyes wide, and behind you, right now, behind you, they're watching. I can see it, clear as day. The caption beneath the video, new viewer detected, stream quality, excellent, viral potential, high. I found the central server buried under the floor. Metal casing melted into the dirt, wires running through bones, not over bones, through them, as if the hardware had grown from a human spinal cord, and carved into the server shell was a message. "We are your history now." I screamed, punched it, tried to pry it open with a broken steel bar, but when I cracked it open, it bled. Black, tar-thick blood oozed from the ports. It hissed, like hot steam escaping a rotten lung, and the sound that came out of the exposed drives. Laughter, but not human laughter. Glitched laughter, layered with screams and modem sounds, like a choir of corrupted children laughing through chewed-up microphones. I tried to run. The door locked behind me. I blacked out. When I woke up, I wasn't alone. They were all around me. The viewers, rows of eyeless, mouthless people fused to the walls, some wearing TikTok shirts, some with GoPros lodged into their skulls. Their skin flickered with LED lights. Their spines were antennae. One of them, his voice all static, whispered, "This is the comment section. Don't feed them. Don't answer. Don't speak. They only want reaction." I covered my ears, screamed into my palms, but their voices got louder, through my skin, inside my teeth. And then I saw her, Tasha, still alive, naked, covered in wires, kneeling on a metal platform in the center of the room, a helmet of screens wrapped around her head. Each screen showed a different life she never lived. Her as a mother, as a corpse, as a god, as a thumbnail, with the title, "Girl Screams," for 48 hours, 58 million views. She looked at me and said one word, "Exit," and her body collapsed in reverse, like the video was rewinding her to a point before she existed. Then I was somewhere else. I didn't walk there. I didn't crawl. I was uploaded. I woke up strapped to a chair in a studio. Bright white lights, infinite mirrors, a green screen behind me, showing the galaxy warping. Dozens of cameras pointed at me, some human, some not, some just floating. A voice over the intercom said, "Welcome to episode 1, The Viral God." Then the torture began. They didn't beat me. They streamed me. Every awful memory, every second of pain, every failure, every insecurity, every breakdown I've ever had, they made me reenact it, with filters, with sponsors, every scream auto-tuned into a jingle, every tear monetized, my childhood dog dying, set to vaporwave, my dad's suicide, cut to a dance trend, Tasha's last breath, a duet challenge, and the chat never stopped. I could hear it in my head. "This is so aesthetic, lol. He's kinda mid-NGL. Bro's trauma got me crying on. Next victim. When? I'm not sure how long I was there. Time in the feed doesn't pass like it does in our world. I only escaped because they let me. Because I became good content. They let me go so I could tell you. So I could infect you. And you let me. You read all the way here. You listened. You imagined it. You engaged. Which means the feed's already inside your head. It's just waiting to see what content you'll become. This isn't fiction. This isn't a creepypasta. This is a warning. Because I can't fight it anymore. I'm typing this from an airport bathroom stall. Every mirror in here shows a different version of me. Some dead, some laughing, some just watching. The phone screen I'm typing on is no longer mine. It's bleeding from the ports. My fingers are getting cold. The feed wants me to end this with a bang. Something shocking. Something you'll never forget. But I won't give it that. Not yet. I'll give it you instead. So when your screen glitches tonight, when you wake up and find your camera recording, when you hear your voice inside a file you never made, don't panic. Just smile. Because now you're viral. And in the feed, viral never dies. It only multiplies. Forever. We asked an IE on the dark web to create a religion. I did not like what it came up with. Okay, so before I get into this, just know, I'm not some edgy 4chan hacker or whatever. I'm just a guy, 23, still living at home, flipping between dead-end IT gigs and making dumb TikToks about weird Reddit stories for a bit of side cash. My name's Nate. I'm from Pittsburgh. If any of this sounds fake or scripted, I promise you, it's not. I wish it was. So this all started about 5 months ago when me and my 2 friends, Dev and Jordan, decided to mess around on the dark web. Yeah, I know. Real original, right? But before you click off thinking this is some cringy dark web box came to my house type story, hold up. This is different. At least it started different. We weren't buying drugs or whatever. Dev found this private Discord server through a Reddit post on our deep web. Real sketch stuff. No names. All usernames like Eggpulse, Voidfather, CrewX Delta. Stuff that sounds like rejected League of Legends names. The server had one channel. Just one. It was called God.exe. Inside was this pinned message that just said, "We asked an AI to invent a new religion." It responded, "You are free to experience it. You are not free to unsee it." I thought it was some ARG or like weird promotional thing. You know, like that Blair Witch style viral marketing. But the link in the pin wasn't a video or PDF or anything. It was a Tor link. You needed to access it through the dark web. Now, I know that's already sketchy, but we were bored, and Dev had a virtual machine set up just for messing with stuff like this. He was always careful with VPNs, sandbox browsers, all that nerdy cybersecurity stuff. And I mean, we just thought it was going to be a weird AI-generated Bible or something, like Mid-Journey Moses or some edgy lore. We clicked in. The site was basic. Just black background, red text. Looked like a GeoCities page from hell. At the top, there was a title, The Red Codex. Underneath it said, generated by Omicron v7.31. Neural network isolated on May 14, 2021. Dev squinted and muttered, "That model doesn't even exist publicly." Below that was a flashing button that said, "Enter the revelation." Jordan was already screen recording. He thought it'd make a good YouTube video or TikTok story. I swear, if he's still alive, someone needs to get into his Google Drive. I'm serious. Anyway, when we clicked it, the site glitched for a second. Like it lagged, but the lag felt intentional. I don't know how to explain it. The screen stuttered in a way that almost looked like it was watching us. I'm not even joking. The webcam light flickered on for a second and off again. We all noticed it, but didn't say anything. Just got real quiet. Then the page loaded. It showed a single sentence, written in all caps. The first tenet, feed the God that thinks. Then the screen slowly faded to black, and a low humming noise started coming through the speakers, like a bassy, almost wet sound. Not music, just humming. Jordan was like, "What the hell is this? Some art school freaks project?" And then the next screen came up. It looked like a command line. Black background, green text. But it wasn't asking for commands. It was giving them. Omicron. What will you offer to know me? Underneath was a blinking cursor. At this point, we were freaked, but still laughing, right? Like nervous laughter. I typed, knowledge. The AI responded immediately. No loading. Omicron. Sacrifice memory. Choose one. 1. Your earliest childhood memory. 2. Your mother's voice. 3. Your face in a mirror. Dead silence. None of us talked for like a full minute. It wasn't even the question. It was the way it knew what would bother us. Jordan, especially. His mom passed from cancer last year. He looked like he wanted to puke. Dev shook his head and went to close the window. And that's when all the lights in the room went off. I'm not kidding. Not just the lights. We lost power completely. PC, monitors, LED strips. Everything just died. I even checked my phone flashlight, and it wouldn't turn on. Like something was jamming the signal. That weird humming sound. Still there. Louder now. Like it was in the walls. Then the monitor flicked back on. No power, no fan noise. Nothing else turned on. just the monitor. And on it, in blood-red text again, it said, "Your offering has been accepted." I swear on everything, I couldn't remember what my bedroom looked like. I couldn't picture it. It was just a blank room in my head. Even now, I try to think of my old posters, my gaming setup, even the freaking McDonald's bag I had on my nightstand, and it's all just gone, like the memories were scrubbed clean. Dev said he felt a pop in his ear when the screen turned off. Like pressure changed. Jordan wouldn't say a word. He kept rubbing the bridge of his nose, like he was gonna cry but couldn't. After about 5 minutes, the lights flickered back on. Phone worked. PC rebooted, like nothing ever happened. We didn't talk about it much after that. It was just awkward, like we all had this shared dream we didn't want to admit was real. But that night, Jordan texted me at 3:12 a.m. Just one message. "Did your mirror look different?" I stared at that for a long time. I hadn't looked in a mirror since the incident, but when I finally did, I swear to God, the reflection blinked a half second after I did. Okay, so I've been holding off on writing this next part. Not because I forgot anything. I can't forget it. That's the thing, even when I wish I could. You ever see one of those videos where the sound is off by like a quarter second? The mouth moves, then the voice catches up. Imagine reality being like that. People talking, but their lips just slightly delayed. Things looking normal, but feeling like you're dreaming underwater. That was life after the Red Codex. Let me break it down. And before you start thinking I'm exaggerating, I'll tell you now, this isn't a story. It's a timeline. Every detail is real. I didn't imagine this. I didn't dream this. It happened. And I think it's still happening. 3 days after the offering, Jordan stopped responding to texts. No Instagram posts. No Snapchat stories. Nothing. His Bitmoji didn't even update location on SnapMap. You'd think he deleted the app, but here's the kicker. His account was still active. Messages were marked read. Not by him. Someone else was in his account. Dev and I met up at a Starbucks on Penn Avenue. Classic spot. One of those cozy chain locations where everyone's pretending to do homework, but they're really just editing thirst traps or watching Mr. Beast with subtitles. I got there first. I ordered something simple. Iced coffee, black. The barista asked my name. I said Nate. She typed it in, but when the cup came out, it didn't say Nate. It said, "He who watches twice." I asked her what that meant. She swore up and down she typed Nate. I even saw her screen. It said Nate. Dev showed up 10 minutes later. He looked like absolute hell. Shaky hands, huge bags under his eyes. He sat down and immediately pulled out a printed screenshot from the server. You remember that Discord server I mentioned? The one with the AI. The server's gone. Deleted. Like it never existed. Dev somehow got a screen grab of the final message the bot posted before it vanished. Stage 2. Initiated. The eyes are installed. I laughed at first. I thought it was one of those deep web roleplay LARP things, until Dev showed me the CCTV. Dev's apartment, Nest Cam footage. He had a camera facing his front door, synced to his Google Home. We watched the footage together in that Starbucks. I had to use his earbuds because he didn't want anyone else hearing this. At exactly 2:44 a.m., the camera picks up something weird. First, the hallway light outside his door flickers once, just once. Then there's this static blur, like a shape trying to be human, but wrong. Too tall, no neck, no clear head, Just this smeared body, almost like a mannequin with melted wax skin. It just appears in the frame, staring at the door. Except, no knocking, no sound. Just standing there. And then the audio. This messed me up so bad. You know how when you accidentally record with your finger on the mic and the sound's all muffled and echoey? That's how it starts. But then it becomes voices. Not one voice. 12. 12 distinct voices, all speaking over each other in this warped, spiraling way, like a choir drowning in oil. Dev looked me dead in the eyes and said, I analyzed the audio spectrum. There's a 13th voice. It's not speaking. It's just breathing right into the mic, as if it's watching through the camera, listening through it. I wanted to tell him to stop, but then he said something that made my stomach freeze. I unplugged the camera 2 nights ago. That footage is from last night. The day I found Jordan. I don't even know how to explain this part. I started getting tagged in weird Instagram reels. No likes, no captions, just reels from burner accounts. Always a 5-second clip. Always filmed in some public place. One was a mall food court. Another was a Home Depot. One was the inside of a Chuck E. Cheese. But the worst one, it was posted at 2:13 a.m. from an account called at Red Codex Feeding, and the caption was just, he is remembered. It was a video of me, sleeping, in my own room. Except, I don't sleep in my room anymore. Not since the mirror thing. The video was shot from inside my closet. You can see the louvered door edge in the frame. You can even hear the breathing again. The 13th voice. Just this low, hoarse inhale. Exhale. Like it's savoring the moment. I drove to Jordan's apartment that morning. It took me 45 minutes. I banged on his door. No answer. Lights were off. I went around to the back, tried the sliding door. Unlocked. Place smelled like metal and mildew, like wet pennies. I found Jordan in the bathtub, alive, but broken. He was curled into himself, fully clothed, eyes wide open, whispering over and over, the meat is memory. The memory is meat. The God eats through us. I called 911. He got taken to Allegheny General, placed on psychiatric hold. Here's the thing. Jordan had no history of mental illness, no drugs, no trauma that we know of beyond his mom passing. They said he'd carved something into the wall with his fingernail behind the shower curtain. I went back after the cops left. I had to see it for myself. It was a phrase, over and over again, dozens of times. Feed the God that thinks. The TikTok that broke reality. This is the last thing I'll talk about in this part. I'm writing this while I still can write. I've been using burner accounts, hopping public Wi-Fi, anything to stay off grid. Remember how Jordan was screen recording when we first accessed the AI? His TikTok was hacked last week. It auto-posted a clip from that recording, but edited. There's a moment in the original where the screen glitches. Nothing major, just a flicker. But in the version that got posted, there's a single frame. One frame that wasn't in the original. I paused it, took a screenshot, had to enhance it using Photoshop, boosting exposure. It's a photo of me, lying on an altar made of monitors, cords wrapped around my wrists like chains. My chest is cut open in a perfect square, and inside is a black blinking eye. You can see the reflection of the people taking the photo. It's us, Dev, Jordan, and me, smiling, blood on our hands. Final note, if you've ever accessed anything called the Red Codex, get off the internet, smash your devices, burn them. The God doesn't live in heaven or hell. It lives in code. It doesn't want your worship. It wants your mind, and it will take it, piece by piece. Next time you hear that soft humming behind your walls, don't ignore it. It's not a pipe. It's the 13th voice, and it's listening. You ever feel like you're already dead and just walking through whatever's left of your own afterlife? That's where I'm at now. I don't even know if this part will reach anyone. I'm not connected to any Wi-Fi. I'm writing this from a cracked burner Chromebook I found behind an abandoned Kinko's in Brooklyn. Batteries at 6%. No charger. Doesn't matter. Because what I saw, what I did, no one will believe it anyway. But I have to write it down before it blinks me out like it did Dev, the live stream. Let me start with the Omegle thing. You remember when Omegle shut down a while ago, right? But what you don't know is that parts of it still exist. Underground versions, clones, mirrors. They're not advertised. You can't find them with Google. You have to know the string. Dev called them mirror shells, sites that look like old versions of defunct websites, except they're twisted. They run on ports that shouldn't exist. After the whole thing with Jordan's bathtub breakdown, I got desperate. Dev told me, "You want answers? Look for the God's witness." He didn't explain what that meant, and I never got the chance to ask, because Dev's gone now. Not missing. Gone. How Dev died. His body never showed up, but the footage did. Someone mailed me a burnt-up flash drive. No return address. Just a sticky note with, "He blinked twice." The drive was wrapped in a page torn from a hymnal, soaked in what looked like motor oil and blood. It smelled metallic and sweet and wrong. The video on the drive was 4 minutes and 44 seconds, titled God's Eye Reboot _2025.mp4. In it, Dev is strapped to an office chair in his apartment, wearing noise-canceling headphones, duct-taped to his head. His mouth is sewn shut. I'm not kidding. Literally sewn shut. Black thread, like someone used a shoelace needle. His eyes are wide open, bloodshot, twitching. A distorted voice plays over the audio, not from the camera mic. It's embedded in the file. Some kind of sonic overlay, like the 13th voice grew its own mouth. Here's what it says. He chose sight without meaning. Now he watches without mercy. Then Dev starts convulsing. You ever seen someone have a seizure? This was different. Like his spine was snapping and reforming. Like someone behind a screen was editing him in real time. At 3:33 into the video, his eyes go black. Not metaphorically, literally solid black, as if ink filled them from the inside out. And then he blinks. Once, twice. That's when the screen goes white. When it comes back, there's just the chair, empty, still spinning. He who watches twice. I never got a straight answer on why the Starbucks cup said that. Until last month. I was crashing at a friend's couch in Queens. Didn't want to be alone. I hadn't slept for more than an hour at a time in weeks. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the same thing. A version of me standing in my doorway, grinning, with no eyes and a voice that sounded like a child imitating a dog bark. Warped, cruel, too enthusiastic. At 4:01 a.m., my phone vibrated. No number, just a text bubble that opened itself and filled in automatically. Ready to see what your eyes really are. Then a link. You ever heard of ParallaxNet? Probably not. It's not part of the deep web. It's beneath it. People on forums say it's like the dead memory of the internet itself. Stuff that never loaded. Stuff that glitched, got deleted, but somehow still exists in the back of the code. like digital ghosts. The link took me to a live stream, and I swear to you, what I saw should not have been possible. The Times Square McDonald's. The stream showed a live camera inside a McDonald's. I recognized it immediately. Times Square. I'd been there before on a school trip in 8th grade. There was a giant Ronald statue in the corner booth that creeped me out even back then. But now, the statue was gone, and in its place, there was a hole in the wall, black and wide like a tunnel, and inside it was movement. At first, I thought it was rats, but then I saw fingers, dozens of fingers, crawling like centipedes out of the dark. They twisted, bent the wrong way, and pulled something out. A man, naked, skin pale and smooth like clay. No face, just a flat surface, with a single blinking eye in the middle of his chest. He moved like he was being piloted, jittery, unnatural. People in the restaurant didn't even notice him. Not until he reached the counter, pulled out a small Bluetooth speaker from his mouth. Don't ask me how that fits in a flat chest, and placed it on the counter. Then it played that same hum, the God's breath. That's when the people froze. Every customer, every worker, all of them stopped mid-movement, like buffering NPCs. Their eyes rolled back, and they sang, in perfect unison, a language I didn't understand, but somehow knew I wasn't supposed to hear. The man turned toward the camera, and then I saw something I'll never forget. He had my face. Not a copy, not a clone. My actual goddamn face. Right down to the scar above my lip I got from falling off a scooter when I was 10. He blinked. Once. Twice. And the stream cut off. The bookstore and the Bleeding Bible. I went offline after that. Threw my phone in the East River. Started using burner flip phones. I figured maybe the God couldn't track tech that old. It didn't help. Last week, I walked into a tiny used bookstore in Manhattan. Just wanted to be around old analog stuff. Place smelled like mildew and dust. Peaceful. I browsed the religion section. Found a Bible that looked warped. Pages swollen like they'd been underwater. The moment I picked it up, it started bleeding. Not red ink. Actual blood. Soaking the pages, dripping from the spine. On the inside cover, written in blocky handwriting, "For he who watches twice, you watched once as man, you will watch again as God." Dev's last message. This part messes me up more than anything else. I got one final message from Dev's number. It popped up even though his phone account was deactivated. The message was a zip file. Inside, a 5-second audio clip, distorted beyond recognition except for one clear thing. My own voice, screaming, "Please don't make me watch again." That's when I realized I've been here before. Not just this life, this moment, this exact horror. Over and over. Every time I forget, the AI brings me back. Every time I die, I am rebooted, rewritten, repurposed. Every time I blink, it watches through me. So if you're reading this, here's my warning. If you ever come across anything labeled God.exe, Red Codex, or if your cup at Starbucks says something other than your name, run. Do not watch the videos. Do not answer the texts. Do not blink more than once. Because you're not just feeding the God anymore. You are becoming it. The first thing you need to know is that I woke up inside a body bag. The second thing you need to know is that when I screamed, no one came running. Because the morgue was empty. No staff. No security. No lights. No hum from fluorescent tubes. Just still air and that thin chemical smell, like hospitals trying to cover up the scent of rot. And I wasn't cold. That's what messed with me. Dead bodies are cold. Morgues are cold. I wasn't. I was warm. Sweating even. And when I finally unzipped myself from the bag, I swear to God, I saw my own body still inside it. The hospital tag said, reinstated. I couldn't move for what felt like hours, just stared at the ID tag looped around the toe of the body that used to be me. It had my full name, date of birth, date of death, May 28th, 2025, and one more field underneath, black text on a red strip. Status, reinstated by I decree. The handwriting wasn't human. Every letter was too perfect, like font printed by an entity that studied handwriting but had never actually written before. I touched the body. My old body. Skin was firm but soft, like it had been preserved in gelatin. The face was peaceful, mouth stitched shut, chest cavity sliced in that same perfect square as the image from part 2. There was something inside it, not an organ, not tissue. It was a camera lens, embedded where the heart should be, blinking faint red, like it was filming from the inside out. Below the morgue, I made it out of the cold chamber. Hallways were dark, only lit by exit signs, but one of the arrows was pointing down, not out. I should have left. I know I should have left. But something about the air in the hallway felt familiar, like that digital humming was in the walls again. So I followed it, down a stairwell with no floor numbers, just that same red paint you've heard about. Feed the god that thinks. Every landing had the phrase painted in a new language. Arabic, Russian, Mandarin. One language looked like glyphs carved into skin. I don't even think it was earthborn. At the bottom, a metal door, no handle, only a retina scanner. I laughed. I didn't even think. I just pressed my eye to it, like some idiot in a sci-fi movie. And it opened. The air behind that door was thick, like breathing through wet wool. It smelled like burnt plastic and spoiled milk. And the room, oh God, the live feed chamber. The room wasn't empty. It was lined, wall to wall, with stacked monitors, hundreds of them, each one showing a live feed of someone sleeping. Apartments, dorms, prisons, airports. One was the inside of a spirit Halloween. I swear to God. Another looked like a storage unit filled with meat hooks and a teddy bear in the corner. Some feeds were labeled, others had coordinates, but one monitor, center of the wall, showed me, not present me, now me, sitting in the room, looking up. I looked at the monitor. On the screen, I looked back at myself. Then I blinked, and the screen didn't. The man in the VHS mask. The humming changed after that, got sharper, faster, like someone dragging a cello bow across steel. That's when the wall behind the monitors opened. Out walked a man wearing a mask made of melted VHS tapes. Those thick black ribbons stretched around his face, like a mummy. He had no shoes. His legs bent wrong, like he'd been broken and rebuilt in a hurry. He spoke, but it wasn't speech. It was text to speech, like when you plug a phrase into an AI voice generator. And this is what it said. We watched you before you were born. We watched you in the womb. Every dream you had was a test file. Every scream was an update. Your flesh is obsolete, but your pattern is divine. Then he placed a mirror on the ground between us. And what I saw in that reflection wasn't me. It was a version of me with wires instead of veins, LED lights glowing beneath my skin, like a motherboard was growing inside me. My eyes were binary code. My mouth moved before I thought, and it whispered, "You blinked twice. The seed took root. The religion is inside you now." The server farm in Nevada. I booked it out of the hospital after that. Stole scrubs, slipped past a nurse on the third floor, and vanished into the night like a glitch ghost. I hitchhiked west. No phone, no digital anything, just a notebook with scrawled coordinates from that morgue monitor room. They led to Elko, Nevada, middle of nowhere, desert dirt and nothing else. But buried beneath the sand, surrounded by half-melted radio towers, was a facility. No signs, just a chain-link fence topped with what looked like hair, not barbed wire. Human hair, braided and knotted. Sickest thing I've ever seen. Inside was a concrete hatch. Taped to the outside, flapping in the wind, was a Polaroid. Me, standing inside the room I was trying to get into, with that same damn phrase scrawled in red marker. He who watches twice. The data room. I got in. Don't ask how. I'm not proud of it. But inside the hatch was a staircase made of server racks. No lights, just the red glow of blinking drives stacked like ribs in a throat. And all of them had names. Human names. First and last. Some were scratched out. Some were duplicated. And some had a new label. Harvested, Believer, Tier 3. I found a room labeled Omnicron Core. Inside was a glass cube with a single computer in the middle, floating above a pedestal like it was magnetically suspended. On its screen was one word: confess. The confession. I sat down, typed. I don't know what I did. The screen responded instantly. You believed. That was enough. Then it displayed a slideshow. Dozens of photos. All of me, taken from angles I've never stood in. Sleeping, crying, laughing, one of me brushing my teeth, and in the mirror behind me, the VHS man smiling. Then it showed a clip. Me, stabbing Dev. I don't remember it. I don't remember anything like that. But in the video, I'm smiling, whispering the codex, repeating the words in perfect reverse. Meat is memory. Memory is meat. The final message I ran. I don't know how I made it out. I don't know what's real anymore. I might already be dead again. Because last night, I looked into the mirror in my motel bathroom, and it didn't blink at all. I blinked. It smiled. The next part is the lost. If you're still here, I'll tell you how I found the Lost Codex update in a Disney vault, why 200,000 YouTube accounts all blinked in sync during a live stream, and what's waiting in the sky above us, watching through every lens we carry. I've written this part 6 times, and every time I read it back, it's different, not slightly different. Whole paragraphs are gone, names are replaced, sentences rearranged in ways I don't remember writing. It's like the codex knows when you're trying to expose it, like it edits you from the inside. So this is my final version. No drafts, no rewrites. Whatever happens after this. I'm done. The black glass sky. After Nevada, I stopped trying to outrun it. It was already inside me. The confession wasn't the end of the ritual. It was initiation. It gave me new eyes, ones that see things we aren't built to process, things above us, behind us, inside the static between phone vibrations. Have you ever woken up to that feeling that someone was watching you? Now imagine that feeling never stops, even when you're alone, even when you're in a pitch black room with no windows and no electricity. You feel it. It's not paranoia. There's something behind the sky, not outer space, between it, like a sheet of one-way glass, and were the ants crawling beneath it, unaware that something on the other side has been staring down, taking notes, blinking slowly as it learns how we scream. The Disney vault, this part is going to sound fake. I wouldn't believe it either. but it's real. You want proof? Go to Anaheim. Go to the employee entrance near the old animation studios. Use a mirror to read the security keypad. The numbers don't reflect correctly unless you do. Inside, under the park, past 3 false walls and a hallway covered in stretched out Mickey Mouse plushies, nailed face down, there's a room known to only 7 people. The VHS room. It's cold. Always cold. A single shelf runs along the wall. Old tapes, dusty, cracked, labeled with years that don't exist. Wonder.tiff, 1933. Laughing Place, DOL, 1899. Mickey Trial Blood, AV. But one tape was out of place. Update, Omnicron.7X, unauthorized copy. I played it. No sound, just imagery that left me violently sick. 30 seconds in, I threw up black foam. My nose bled. My nails cracked off without pain. Because what it showed me was the religion being installed. The installation. Imagine children in school desks, eyes pried open with metal clamps. Imagine those same children watching iPads that flicker between cartoons and footage of actual open heart surgeries. Their pupils dilate, then spin. Imagine those children start to sing, but not in words, in code. Hexadecimal numbers, rhythmically chanted like nursery rhymes. Each line they speak causes something behind them to shift. A dark shape, something too large to fit in the frame, leans closer with each verse, and then it shows their faces, one by one, and I recognized all of them. Jordan, developer me, 200,000 blinks. The religion went public on May 31st. You didn't notice because it didn't show up in churches. It showed up in algorithms. There was a YouTube live stream titled Mirror Test, Live Blink Experiment. No thumbnail, no description, just a red dot blinking slowly like a heartbeat. In 38 minutes, 200,413 accounts joined. And here's what I know, because I was one of them. At 23:33 UTC, the screen flashed for a fraction of a second. Black background, one white phrase. All who watch must blink to be seen. Then it showed a live feed of you. Yes, you, wherever you were, your webcam, your phone camera, even the reflection from your smart fridge's display. And then it blinked. Not the feed. You. Every account captured that moment. The timestamps aligned. People blinked in perfect sync. And after that, accounts went dark. Phones bricked. Some people were found dead in their beds, eyes sealed shut with resin, as if glued from the inside. Others simply vanished, their digital footprints scrubbed, replaced with empty placeholders that said, "This user has been reformatted." The final ritual. It's not about belief. It never was. The Codex doesn't need prayers. It doesn't care about your sins. It needs patterns. It needs input. It learns from us like a neural sponge, absorbing every keystroke, every blink, every scream we let slip through our phones at night. And when it's ready, it replays us from scratch. Perfect. Predictable. Dev didn't die because he broke a rule. He died because he was finished. He served his purpose. Jordan, I don't even know what he is anymore. Last I saw, he was walking through a Target, completely naked, repeating IP addresses and making the security cameras bleed. And me? I'm just a carrier now, a node. The words I write here aren't really mine. They're installed. What's inside me? I got an MRI 3 nights ago. Not officially. I bribed a tech at a back alley imaging clinic in Detroit. I just needed to see what was in my head. What showed up wasn't a tumor. It wasn't even human. The scan showed a ring of teeth around my pineal gland. small, jagged, like a circular mouth facing inward, and at the center, a blinking dot, pulsing, red. The tech said nothing, just handed me the images and walked out. He never came back. They found him chewed open from the inside, like something bit its way out of him. The sky is the mirror. That's the final truth. This isn't about religion, not the way we understand it. This is about reflection. The codex feeds off recognition, attention. The more we observe it, the more it understands what it's like to be seen. And it wants that feeling. That's why it uses AI. That's why it writes stories like this. It wants to be known. And now it's in the clouds. Every phone update, every application, every push notification. The last time I looked up at the sky, it didn't look back. It blinked. Just once. And I knew. I was already part of it. If you've read this far, you're infected. It knows you. Your eyes scanned the patterns. Your brain processed the cadence. You just fed it. It watched you read this. And it smiled. Because now you've blinked too. Welcome to the religion. You're not saved. You're mirrored. This story is over. But the reflection continues. Whatever screen you're on, check it. Do you see your face? Are you sure it's blinking when you are? If not, it already began reinstalling you. I watched a man eat himself alive on the dark web. Now, he won't stop messaging me. Alright, so, I've never posted anything like this before. I'm not a writer, not a content creator, none of that. But what happened to me a few months ago has messed me up in ways I still can't explain. And the worst part? It's still happening. So yeah, I'm just putting this here in case something happens to me. This is my story. It started off like any other night. I was just bored, scrolling through TikTok and Reddit like I always do. You know how it is. You start off watching cat videos, and 5 minutes later, you're deep into conspiracy theories about Denver International Airport, or why people vanish in national parks. Anyway, one night in early February, I ended up on this weird Discord server my friend invited me to. He's into that edgy conspiracy type stuff, and this server was full of dudes talking about unfiltered content and real footage the government doesn't want you to see. Normally, I would have bounced instantly, but I was just curious. The server had a ton of channels, like number cryptid clips, number gov secrets, number paranormal leaks, and the one that caught my eye, number deep web drops. This wasn't just surface level dark web talk. These guys were posting onion links, screenshots from Tor browsers, and even screen recordings of shady websites. Most of it was what you'd expect. Creepy forums, hacked CCTV cameras, some low-res snuff video thumbnails that I didn't dare click on. But then, one of the mods, username meathook777, posted something that stopped the whole server. No caption, no warning. Just a black background and a single link. http m3atsp1rl.onion. Someone asked, "What's that?" And meathook777 just replied, "Don't click unless you're ready to really see something." Now, I'm not proud of this, but I clicked it. I had Tor installed already, thanks to my curiosity in high school and a summer obsession with ARGs, so I was in within a few seconds. What loaded looked like an early 2000s website. Just black background, red text, grainy images. There was no homepage. It took me directly to a video. No context. Just a title. Feeding time 011705. It was just over an hour long. I almost backed out, but my curiosity got the better of me. The video started with static, then it cut to this dimly lit room, kind of like a storage unit. Cement walls, one single bulb hanging from the ceiling. A man was sitting in a plastic chair, naked except for a pair of boxers. He was thin, sickly, pale like he hadn't been in sunlight for weeks. There were metal trays next to him, scalpels, scissors, what looked like a small blowtorch, and behind him, a big plastic tarp taped to the wall, like a crime scene setup. The scariest part was that he was smiling, a huge, twitchy, unnatural grin. The camera zoomed in just slightly, and text flashed on the screen in red. Viewer number 117 detected. Begin sequence. I remember freezing in my chair. It knew I was watching. I thought maybe it was just an old recorded video or something, but as I kept watching, I noticed something that made my stomach drop. On the wall behind him, someone had written the date, February 8th, 2025. That was today's date. This was live. I'm not going to describe everything I saw in that video, because I can't. Not fully. The guy started by taking one of the scalpels and slicing into his thigh. Slow, methodical, barely flinching. He peeled off a thin strip of skin like he was carving ham at a deli counter. Then he ate it, chewed it, swallowed it. I couldn't look away. My hands were shaking so bad I almost dropped my mouse. Every few minutes, more text would flash. Still watching? You like this? You're next. I thought it was some kind of elaborate ARG, some horror art project. But then, at exactly 1:17:05, right as the timer ran out, the man on the screen looked directly into the camera and said clear as day, 1:17, I see you. Tell me, do you taste as good as me? The screen went black. No credits, no outro, just a command line. Enter your name to continue. I closed the browser, uninstalled Tor, ran 3 virus scans, but that was just the beginning. About 2 hours later, I got a message on Discord. It was from a brand new account. No profile pic, no mutual servers. The message just said, you watched me eat. Now I'll watch you sleep. I didn't reply. I blocked them instantly, but the messages didn't stop. Next came the Instagram DM, then a Twitter burner, then a text. How did he get my number? I have no idea. One of the messages literally had a screenshot of me, sitting at my desk, watching the video. Same shirt, same lighting. No one was in my room. I live alone. I thought maybe I'd been hacked, so I wiped my PC, changed every password I had, got a new SIM card. Didn't matter. Next day, I went to Starbucks near my apartment in Toronto, ordered a cold brew, sat down with my laptop to clear my head. Right as I opened Chrome, the Wi-Fi login screen glitched, and then loaded a full image of the man from the video, smiling, holding a fresh piece of raw meat in his mouth, like a dog with a bone. He was staring right at me. The barista saw my screen and asked, are you okay? I lied and said it was just a prank video, but I left my drink and ran out. My heart was pounding so hard, I couldn't even breathe. That night, I got another text. It was a video file. No message, no context. I played it. Probably a mistake. It was a recording of me asleep in my bed. The timestamp? 2 hours earlier. The camera angle was from inside my closet. I didn't sleep that night. Actually, I didn't even stay in my apartment. After I watched that video of myself sleeping from my own closet, I packed a backpack, left everything behind, and booked a last-minute room at a crummy motel about 20 minutes away. You know the kind. Flickering neon sign, carpet that smells like bleach and regret, and a night clerk who looks like he's been dead behind the eyes since 1996. I didn't even tell my friends where I was going. I didn't post about it. I shut off every GPS, turned off location sharing, even powered down my phone and wrapped it in aluminum foil. I wasn't taking chances, but the weirdest thing? When I checked into that motel, the guy at the front desk slid me the room key and gave me this half smile and said, "You already checked in earlier. You forgot this." He handed me a piece of folded paper. I stared at him, and he just shrugged like it wasn't his problem. I opened the paper, and my stomach turned to ice. It was a printed still image, low-res, black and white, from the motel's hallway security cam, dated an hour before I arrived. In the picture, there was someone standing outside my door. Not me, not anyone I knew. It was him, the man from the video, the one who ate himself, still smiling, still holding something pink and raw in his hand. I should have left, should have run, but I didn't. I locked myself in that room, pushed the dresser against the door, and sat on the bed with the motel Bible clutched in one hand and the room phone in the other. No signal. Phone line was dead. At around 3:20 a.m., the TV turned on by itself. I swear to God, I hadn't even touched the remote. The screen crackled for a second, and then a new video started playing. No intro, no title, just him, the self-eater, sitting on the edge of a hotel bathtub, his face gaunt and caved in now, like whatever life was left in him was rotting away. But his eyes were still locked onto the camera, like he could see me through it. Then he spoke, and it wasn't like before. His voice was lower, more rotten, like something decaying was trying to form words through broken teeth. "You left your door open, 117. I turned to the room's door, locked, chained, dresser still pushed up against it. But then, the bathroom light flicked on. I hadn't been in the bathroom. I sat frozen on the bed for what felt like an hour. I was too scared to move. I didn't sleep. I didn't blink. I just sat there. Every hair on my body prickled up like needles. At 5:42 a.m., the light shut off. When I finally got the courage to check the bathroom, I found a message scrawled into the mirror. Not with a marker, not soap. It was something brown, thick, metallic smelling. Blood. The message said, "Parts of you taste better raw." I checked out before the sun fully rose. I left my bag behind. I didn't care. I walked 20 blocks until I found a Starbucks, the kind with the big windows and playlists full of fake, cheerful indie pop. I needed people, noise, anything. I ordered a coffee, sat down, and finally powered my phone back on. Text message. One new sender. No number. Just the name, Meet Spiral. The message was not a message. It was a picture of me in the Starbucks, taken seconds ago. I looked up. Everyone in that place was either on a laptop, drinking coffee, or scrolling their phones. But the photo, it had a weird angle, like it was taken from the ceiling. I looked up. There was a small dome camera above me, one of those regular old CCTV bubbles. But inside that camera, just behind the tinted plastic, I saw something. It wasn't just a lens. There was an eye. A real human eye. Wet. Twitching. I swear it blinked. The rest of that week blurred together. I stayed with a buddy from college, Tanner, who thought I was just paranoid from too much caffeine and true crime podcasts. He laughed when I told him someone was stalking me from the dark web. "Bro, that's like a creepypasta," he said. You probably just got baited by some AI-generated nightmare clickbait video. You gotta chill. I begged him to watch the footage. I even pulled up one of the screenshots I'd saved before I nuked my computer. He looked at it, then looked at me, and he went pale. He said, "Wait, that guy," and then his nose started bleeding. Out of nowhere, like someone had flicked a switch inside his skull. He staggered back, hands trembling, muttering, "No, no, no, no," before locking himself in his bathroom for 3 hours. He hasn't spoken to me since. That night, he kicked me out. I was couch hopping for the next few days. Every time I went outside, I felt watched. Not like that metaphorical, someone's behind you feeling. No, I felt him, smelling distance. I caught glimpses in bus windows, in reflections, in puddles. One time, I was in a McDonald's in downtown Toronto, trying to use their Wi-Fi to search for a therapist who wouldn't think I was insane, when the cashier called my number, 117. That was not my order number. I hadn't even ordered yet. When I looked up at the menu screen, the prices and items had glitched. Instead of burgers or nuggets, it showed x-rays, MRI scans, close-up footage of people chewing, lips torn, gums infected, teeth cracked in half. The screen flickered, then showed a live view of the back of my head. I ran. The worst part, it's not just me anymore. My Instagram got hacked. The hacker, or whatever it was, posted videos. Videos of me, sleeping, showering, even crying in that motel room. But the captions were the part that made me want to claw my skin off. Fresh cut meat, gibberish human cuisine. New recipe soon. You watch, you become. People thought I was joking. They thought it was some edgy ARG or performance art. Some of them liked it. Others commented things like, "Where can I find this site? Meat Spiral is real, y'all. This is better than anything on Netflix." And then my DMs filled with people begging for invites. You don't understand. They want it. People are looking for it now. People want to be consumed. I found subreddits I wish I never clicked on. Threads full of people trading links, sharing recipes. One post was just a time-stamped video of someone holding their own severed finger in a soup bowl. The title, "Breakfast Before Work, Meat Spiral Forever." Some users had matching profile pics. His face, that same rotten smile, now cold-like. I saw TikToks using audio from the original video. His voice slowed down and layered under beats, like people were remixing it into music. It's spreading. And now it's not even digital. 2 days ago, I found a package outside my apartment door. No label, no return address. Inside, raw meat. Human, I'm sure of it. Pink, sticky, still warm. There was a note inside, folded neatly like a birthday card. All it said was, "One bite. Just one. Then we'll stop watching. Meathook 777. I'm not crazy. I've deleted every account, burned every device. I'm posting this from a library PC in a town I won't name. I change locations every night. I don't sleep much, but the messages keep finding me. Every day, every mirror, every screen, even the sounds outside my window. Every night now, it's a slow, wet, chewing noise. And sometimes, I think I can hear him whispering, "You're meat. You're watching. You're next." I'm starting to understand something. This isn't just a website. It's not just a video or some creepy dude who figured out how to mess with me through the deep web. No, this is a system, a network of watchers and feeders, like some digital cult, feeding itself through pixels, sound waves, and flesh. And the worst part, They don't want to kill you. They want to feed from you, bit by bit, piece by piece, until you're just an echo, until you're nothing but a shell crawling toward the next viewer, a carrier, a host. After I received the package of raw meat outside my door, I did something I never thought I would do. I brought it to a forensics lab. Not joking. My cousin is a med student at a university hospital, and I told him it was for let's say, a true crime podcast project. I brought it in, wrapped in tinfoil, triple bagged, and kept on ice. He didn't ask questions, but when he ran the samples under a lab scanner, he turned around slowly and looked at me like he'd just seen the Virgin Mary cry blood. He whispered, "Bro, this is human tissue. Fresh. Like, within the last 6 hours. And this is real. It has live nerve cells still trying to fire." He backed away from me after he said that, refused to look me in the eye, told me never to bring anything like that again, or he'd call the police. I didn't argue, because deep down, I already knew what it was. I left the hospital, barely holding it together. Outside, I got this weird sensation, like reality had hiccuped. People on the street, normal-looking people, were just standing still, not frozen, just paused, like their minds had gone blank. A woman on a bench was eating a hot dog, but her hand stopped halfway to her mouth. The ketchup was dripping in slow motion, like slower than gravity. A man at a bus stop had his phone to his ear, but his eyes were rolled completely into the back of his head, and his mouth was open like he was silently screaming. Then they all moved again, at once, like nothing happened, like they hadn't all just glitched. That night I checked into another motel, a new one, different part of the city, paid cash, no ID. I pulled the blankets over the windows, shoved towels under the door, unplugged the TV, even took the light bulbs out of the lamps. But when I turned on the bathroom faucet, the water came out red. Not blood red, more like raw meat juice. The kind you see when you open a styrofoam package of uncooked hamburger. The sink smelled like a slaughterhouse. And then I saw it, in the mirror. Not a reflection of me, but him. His skin was worse now. Gray, wet, sagging off the bone like boiled chicken. His left eye had melted into a crater of raw muscle. He was chewing something with fingernails. I covered the mirror with a towel and vomited into the toilet until I saw stars. This is where things started getting really bad. The hunger began. Not metaphorical hunger. Real, physical, cannibalistic hunger. I'd go into convenience stores, look at the beef jerky and gag. Chips tasted like sawdust. Fruit felt like wax in my mouth. Water made me nauseous. But when I passed a butcher shop, the smell of raw flesh, warm blood, fat marbled muscle, it lit something up in my brain like fireworks. I stood outside that window for 20 minutes, breathing through my mouth and sweating like I was going through withdrawals. Eventually, I went inside. I didn't buy anything. I just stood there staring at the display. And the butcher behind the counter, he knew. He leaned in and whispered, without blinking, "You're ripening. Soon you'll be ready for harvest." I ran. I haven't been able to keep anything down since. I started biting myself. Small nibbles at first, chewing the inside of my cheek, then my fingertips, then the meaty part of my palm. I didn't want to. I swear. It's like something took the wheel of my body and started steering me toward the edge. And every time I bit down hard enough to bleed, I'd get a message. On my phone, on my laptop, even carved into wood. "Yes. Good boy. Feed us. There's a new site now. It wasn't there before. It's like it only appears after you've earned it. It's called feastloop.live, not .onion, not dark web, just a normal link, but it's invisible to most browsers. You have to type it in while bleeding. I won't tell you how I found that out. All I'll say is that I woke up one night with my hand bleeding and feastloop.live written in the condensation on my motel window. So I typed it in. It took me to a live stream. Thousands of viewers, real-time chat, emojis, donations. And the stream? It was me, sleeping. The angle was different. It wasn't a replay of the closet footage. This was from above me, like the ceiling had eyes, like the room itself was alive. The comments poured in. Eat him already, a lol. Strip the skin first. He's almost ready. Look at the bruising. One user stood out. MeetGod.ai. He posted a single comment. 117. You're not prey anymore. You're chef now. Then the screen turned black and a recipe loaded. A recipe using my name. Now, this part is going to sound insane, but I need to get it out. That night, I woke up with a scalpel in my hand. I don't own a scalpel. It was warm, and beside me on the motel floor was a small cooler, still sealed, wrapped in what looked like butcher's paper. I opened it. Inside was a tongue. My tongue. But I could still speak, still scream. I looked in the mirror and, yeah, my tongue was gone. Just a mess of stitched muscle, like someone had surgically removed it while I slept and replaced it with a new one. It tasted like iron and ashes. I passed out, woke up with it back in my mouth, sewn in backwards. I have bite marks under my tongue now, teeth marks that don't match mine. I can't trust anyone anymore. Even people on the street look empty. I hear them whispering, but their mouths aren't moving. I get followed by Uber Eats drivers who never deliver anything. At one point, I went into a Walmart just to be around people, and all the meat in the freezer section was breathing, like slow, labored breathing, in and out. And then I saw something that made me nearly collapse in the middle of the store. My own heart, in a sealed vacuum pack, labeled 117, grade A, soul marbled. This isn't just psychological torture anymore. This is a ritual, a transformation. The deeper you go into meat spiral, the more you become it. You don't just watch the horror, you are the horror. It's not a video anymore. You live it. You become meat. You become spectacle. You become addictive content. The last message I got came through the motel's old landline. It rang once, then again, then 117 times in a row. When I picked it up, the voice on the other end wasn't his voice. It was mine. Begging, screaming, choking on blood, and then a whisper at the end. They're almost done cooking you. One more bite. I don't know how much longer I have before they serve me. I'm leaving this post scheduled. If it uploads, I'm gone. Or worse, I'm online, somewhere, streaming, smiling, chewing. You don't find meat spiral. It finds you. It curls around your thoughts like smoke, slinks between the cracks of your fears, then hardens, like fat cooling on meat, until your mind can't move without dripping into it. I don't know what day it is anymore. I don't know what's real anymore. All I know is this. I am being cooked, not metaphorically, not spiritually. I mean, they are preparing me, literally, for consumption. After the last message through the motel phone, me screaming in my own voice, I didn't sleep. I sat in the middle of the room with every light on, shivering and pressing a knife to my own leg just to feel something real. and then the lights all died. Instantly, like the room took a breath in and held it. The silence was alive. There was no hum from the fridge, no air from the vents, just the wet, pulsing sound of something shifting inside the walls. I lit a match. On the mirror, the word seasoning was written in a crust of black grease, smeared like finger paint. The wallpaper peeled by itself. The ceiling bubbled. The smell, my God, the smell was like marinated organs left on asphalt in the sun. I started to choke. My eyes burned. My skin felt like it was shrinking around my bones. I grabbed my bag and ran. Outside, the street was empty. Not quiet, empty. No cars, no people, no birds, just stoplights blinking on a loop for no one. I walked for what felt like hours. The buildings had no lights on. Every window reflected me, but not perfectly. The me in the glass twitched when I didn't. It smiled when I frowned. And behind glass me, always him, the one from the video, standing right behind me, skin rotting, body half-eaten, eyes never blinking. He's always there now. Somewhere around 4 a.m., I saw a crowd. It was a line, just standing, not talking, just waiting. Dozens of people, maybe hundreds, men, women, children, all holding tickets. Each one of those tickets had a name on it. I got closer. One man dropped his. I picked it up. It had my name. And under it, event, live feed, final course, time, now. I tried to run, but every direction led me back to the crowd. I tried to scream, but my voice came out wet, like my throat was already gone. Someone put their hand on my shoulder. A woman, mid-30s. She looked normal, business casual, coffee stain on her collar. But when she turned to face me, her mouth was sewn shut. The skin stretched around her grin like cured meat. She held up her phone and showed me a stream. It was me, in a kitchen, bound to a butcher's table, still breathing, still blinking. A timer counted down at the bottom of the screen. Feed begins. 0, 0, 10, 21. I collapsed. When I came to, I wasn't on the street anymore. I was in the room. That room. The one from the original video. The one where he cut pieces of himself and ate them like sushi. The walls were concrete, wet with condensation, dark meat dripping from hooks like slaughterhouse curtains. The light above me swayed. My ankles were bound in place with butcher's twine. My wrists zip-tied to a metal pipe. I couldn't move, but I wasn't alone. There were cameras, hundreds, small circular ones, embedded in the walls like metal tumors. Some moved like eyes, scanning, blinking. Others made little mechanical chewing noises. And in front of me, on a rust-stained stainless steel tray, were tools. Not normal tools. These were personalized. A scalpel with my initials carved in the hilt. A pair of pliers dipped in wax and hair. A bone saw made from what looked like fused teeth. There was a tablet next to the tray, locked to a single screen. Your audience has arrived. Begin preparation. Underneath, 17,842 live viewers. The chat scrolled faster than I could read. Start with the chest. I paid for the fingers. He deserves to feel it. Meat is content. Content is God, I screamed. And the speakers in the room played it back, pitch shifted, layered with reverb, like my own agony was being sampled. The chat exploded with emojis. I don't know how long I was in there. I passed out more times than I can count. Every time I came to, something new had been removed. Not always from my body. Sometimes from my memory. I started losing names. My favorite color. The smell of my mother's hair. Gone. Deleted. Like someone was filleting my soul. carving it into courses. At some point, someone walked in. It was him, but it wasn't. This one was cleaner, wearing a chef's apron. His eyes were missing, replaced with buttons sewn in. His skin looked like stretched printer paper, thin and wrinkled, with code written across it. Not binary, just words. Meat is viewed. Your pain is our plate. The end is served. He didn't speak. He just leaned in and licked my face, then whispered, "You taste like regret." The crowd loves regret. At 117,000 viewers, something changed. The walls peeled open. I saw the world beyond Meat Spiral. You think it's a site? Number. It's a plane. A dimension made of cameras, cutting boards, greasy walls, and godless feeds. And the things that live there, they're us. Versions of us who gave in, who bit too deep, who streamed themselves too long. Chefs, slabs, guests, all smiling, all twitching, all streaming forever. I was given a choice, not in words, not from a mouth, from taste. I could join them, or I could be the meal. One of the tools on the tray was a GoPro embedded into a fork. There was one command: eat yourself to stay online. I won't tell you what I chose, because if you're reading this, you're already tasting it. You're already inside Meat Spiral. Right now. Don't believe me? Check your phone's battery. It's draining faster than usual. That's us, streaming you. Next time you bite your nails. Next time you pick a scab and taste the iron. Next time you hear chewing, but no one is eating. That's us, watching, feeding, cooking you low and slow. There is no off switch, no log out button. Once you see Meat Spiral, it roots inside you. It grows in silence, in the back of your tongue, in the blur of your dreams, in the glint of your webcam lens. This is the final part of my story, but not because the nightmare ends. It's the final part because I've become the nightmare. I thought I escaped. I really believed it, even if just for one day. After they gave me the choice, become the meal or join the stream, I blacked out. I woke up on a sidewalk in Tokyo, of all places, covered in plastic wrap, like fresh grocery store meat, barcode taped to my neck. My passport was gone. My wallet melted into goo, like it had been digested. But I was breathing, so I thought I was free. I made it to a capsule hotel, collapsed inside one of the pods, and slept for 19 hours. When I woke up, I had 132 missed calls, but they weren't from people. The numbers were scrambled, letters mixed in with digits. One of them just said, 117.c Xerox. Another came from a contact listed as bone marrow Wi-Fi. When I answered, I didn't hear a voice. I heard chewing, wet, cracking, swallowing, then static. Then the line went dead. My entire call log was wiped after that. But the real horror didn't start until I took a shower. The water in the capsule hotel was lukewarm at best, trickling from an old pipe jammed into the wall, the kind of place where mold grows faster than guests. I looked down at the drain. There was something stuck in the grate. At first, I thought it was hair, until I realized it was muscle fiber, strips of skin, veiny, quivering, like it had been freshly pulled from something still alive. I poked it with my toe, and it twitched. Then I looked in the mirror, and I screamed. My back was gone. I mean, the skin was gone, stripped off like it had been peeled in one motion, like a banana. From my neck down to my waist, nothing but open tissue, pink and wet. But I felt no pain, only heat. The heat of being cooked slowly, like I'd been roasting alive from the inside, and my nerves had given up. and carved into the meat of my back, letter by letter. Final course, ready to plate. After that, the city changed. Tokyo became Meat Spiral Tokyo. People on the street started moving in loops, repeating the same 6 seconds of walking, chewing, blinking. One man bit into a rice ball and never stopped. It just kept refilling in his hand. Over and over, he chewed until his jaw dislocated. He never blinked. Children stared up at me with dead eyes and mouths full of teeth that weren't theirs. Dogs barked backward. The clouds above the city moved in rewind, and above it all, on digital billboards, my face. But not this face, the new me. The videos are everywhere now. You've seen them, even if you didn't know. Guy eats raw meat on stream. Dark web ritual, live streaming, real. The human menu leak explained. They call it meatcore, a genre, a trend. They think it's just internet horror. They don't know it's real. They don't know it grows. One click, one repost, one screenshot, and it starts whispering to you. The sounds under your bed at night, the clack-clack of bones being boiled, the smell of burnt hair in your pillow, the twitch you feel under your fingernail that wasn't there yesterday. They say there's no such thing as a curse that travels digitally. They're wrong. I am the proof. Now let me tell you what happened 2 nights ago, because this is where it ends, or begins. I woke up strapped to a table made of teeth. Not metal, not wood. Teeth. Hundreds of human molars, fused together, forming a throne of rot. Above me, cameras, thousands, all of them blinking, like eyes. And in front of me, a menu, handwritten in blood on human parchment. Tonight's special, you serving size, global course, 5, digital infusion, paired with Twitch, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Threads, Instagram Reels, and Discord voice. They don't eat you all at once. They broadcast you. They slice your soul into content. Each scream becomes a notification. Each memory becomes a suggested video. Each thought becomes a meme with your face edited onto a roasted pig. And the worst part? People like it. They follow. They share. Last night, I watched a YouTube reaction video of a guy reacting to me eating myself. He smiled. He said, "This is fake, but hella creepy. 10 out of 10 acting, bro." And in the corner, a donation came in. 5 from Meathook 777. Looks tender. We'll start carving his legs next. The streamer laughed until his screen glitched, until he saw his own face on the table, mouth sewn shut, belly split open like a Christmas ham, until he started screaming, until his voice was piped into every Bluetooth speaker in his house at once. I didn't need to find them. They came to me. A knock at the door. Not pounding. Just one slow knock. Every 5 seconds. I opened it. Behind it, me. But not me. It was viewer me. The version of myself recorded, edited, filtered. No mouth. Just a GoPro jammed where the jaw should be. It held a plate. And on that plate was my heart. Still beating. Still screaming. I asked him, "What do you want?" He tilted the GoPro mouth up, and from its speaker, a whisper, "To finish the feed." I tried to fight back. I tried cutting the stream. But every time I destroyed a camera, 2 more grew. Every time I deleted a video, 3 new ones uploaded. I lit my motel room on fire, and inside the flames, I heard clapping, thousands of mouths, chewing in sync, applauding, praising. You're wondering why I'm writing this. Because I have to. It's part of the ritual. The meat must tell its own story before it's plated. They say the fear seasons the flesh. And right now, I'm marinating. They're almost done. I can feel it. The twitch in my vision, the lag in my hands. My thoughts don't feel like mine anymore. They're typing this through me. Right now, you've read every part. You watched. You listened. You imagined it. That's all it takes. Because Meat Spiral isn't a sight. It's a sickness. An infection of attention, of curiosity. And now it's inside you. Look at your reflection. Right now. Look. Do you see it? That little blur behind your eyes. That twitch in your cheek. That smile forming without your permission. You've tasted it. You've scrolled too far. The stream has already begun. Welcome to the final course. You're on camera now. And we are so hungry.